everybody, and hi, I'm Katie and welcome to my channel. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram or have seen my previous video, then you will know that I had some very good news recently and I wanted to turn said good news into a video because why not? So like Goodreads, I also use the blogging platform Booklikes as well to find books and look at reviews and such like, and they have a feature every Friday which is called Follow Friday, where they approach bloggers and basically get them to answer some bookish related questions, and they picked me. To this day I am still very surprised and really happy, and I didn't think like something like that would ever be asked of me, but it was very nice. So I have the questions on my phone and let's do this. The first question was, what are you reading right now and how do you like it? At the time I was nearly finished The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. I have to say about this book, it was quite an easy and quick read, but it really did remind me, why I fell in love with her writing in the first place. It was a historical based fiction, but it also had that fantasy magic element, which I really think she blended really well. There were lots of different viewpoints, so a lot of stuff was happening. Although I kind of felt like nothing mega or much happened plot wise, it was still a really nice and surprising book, and the end kind of had me a bit surprised. I was kind of like, oh okay, it was kind of actually a little sad. Everything sort of really happened towards the end and I was just like, oh my god. So by the end of it I felt a little bit sad. Question 2, when have you discovered you're a book lover? I've said before, you know, I loved reading as a kid. It was something that I really liked, but I did kind of fall out of it. I'm not sure why. I think I started to struggle with words from what I remember, but I'm not 100%, but I kind of fell out of it, and then Harry Potter kind of brought me back to it. So that was kind of like my late years in high school, sort of because of the films were happening as well. So that was kind of when I'd hit high school, and then I think once I'd hit that last year, I didn't read very much. You know, I had exams and things, so I was reading all the Harry Potters as and when they came out. And it was my last summer, that was it. I was done with school, I was reading the final book and I had finished it, and that was it. And it was only because I went on a trip to go and see a play up in Stratford to go see David Tennant, and we were in Birmingham for the day and went into a Waterstones there, and I came across Meredith Ann Prince's The Dark Angel series. This is something you may have heard me talk about before on Booktube or on Instagram, you may have seen this, and this was kind of the book series that got me back into reading, and I really discovered my love of sort of fantasy and sci-fi and that kind of young adult, like that I think really kind of got me into it and got me more into exploring books again. Question 3. You're mainly a booktuber now, although we can spot reviews published on your blog some time ago. Why have you chosen to become a booktuber? Okay, so I have done booktube previously. You may or may not have seen some of my older videos, but I was just not very consistent. A lot of stuff happened to me, and not like to be over dramatic or anything, but just some personal stuff. I did really try really hard, and I was also doing film reviews as well on my other YouTube channel, which I have now stopped, and I kind of regret, and I wouldn't mind picking that back up, but we'll see how we go. And then I started sort of doing beauty blogging. I still have like a beauty and lifestyle related Instagram, but I just got very inconsistent, and I guess I kind of fell out of love with it, and I lost the motivation. At one point I was seeing a guy and he was amazing at being motivating for me. He was like, he would be showing his family members and his friends like the stuff I was doing on YouTube, and then when I'd meet them I'd be like, I'm so embarrassed, but he was really quite a big part of keeping me motivated. And when we broke up I really was just like, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Not because of him, but I don't know, I just fell out of love with it. Also, working full time is really hard, trying to sort of fit in the times, because when I get home, you know, I just couldn't find the energy to write a book review. Booktube is a little bit easier. It's still hard for me to try and fit it in, but in my case I feel like I can be more like myself in giving responses and being silly and stupid, and I felt like when I'm writing a review I maybe had to sound a bit more professional. But on the flip side of that, I would probably get in more information in a book review, whereas on Booktube I get very distracted, I get very silly, I go off on different tangents, and yeah. How different is talking about books from writing about books is question 4. Like I said before, it is my personality. I feel like I can be silly and make noises. I can't really write in a book review, and I feel like when I talk about books with people I get so passionate that sometimes I feel like I can't get that across in writing. And yeah, like I said, on the flip side I probably could get more detail and more in the writing, but I don't know, I just kind of prefer this. I feel like I can just get my personality through better. Question 5. Why is reading important to you? It is such a hard question because I could not tell you why, but it is such a big love and such a big passion of mine. I can't imagine just not having my bookcases. I can't imagine, like, at the moment I'm commuting to work, I can't imagine not having a book in my bag. I can't, the thought of having to, like, spend my lunch break not reading, like, if I have to spend my lunch break and someone ends up with me and they want to talk, I'm just like, okay, well, I want to read, so, like, I don't want to socialise, I want to read. It is hugely important to me, and it's one of these things that I wish guys were into more, like weren't embarrassed about being like, oh, I like to read, because I don't think you should, because reading is just another form of television. It is no different, and when, you know, half the things that guys would actually probably watch and enjoy, when you're like, this was a book first, you know, it's just another form of entertainment, right? There is just something about reading, and the amount of times I've said to my mum, I'm so glad I love reading. But it's just a really amazing form of, like, escape from the crappy everyday. Question 6. Which books are you most excited about, recommending to your followers? For me, it is any book that can get me heavily emotionally invested and will physically make me react. So recently, like a lot of you may know, books I've been gushing about are The Sin Eater's Daughter, because those books had me gasping. I was like, oh my godding on the train. I was reacting like a right idiot. It's books that really get me, like, oh my god, like if someone goes, have you read this? I can't wait to be like, oh my god. Another book which I absolutely love is the Half Bad trilogy by Sally Green. That is another series that is just so just like, oh my god. And also it's one of the first male lead books I read after Harry Potter. After that I read a series by Neil Gaiman and oh crap, I want to say Simon Reeves. It's Simon Reeves. Not Christopher, that's the actor. And that was a very science sci-fi one. But I feel like I have read very few books that are based from a male lead, and it was just really good because I wasn't expecting that level of emotion to come with a book that was kind of male orientated. Question 7, how do you find new books to read? This is so hard because when I look at my bookshelves and go, how did I come across that? I don't know. To begin with, definitely Amazon. That was how I really created like my first ever proper like reading list that was like pages long. It was just via Amazon because I could really research them, and then I don't know, that is just, yeah, how I just found everything. Now obviously, you know, Bookstagram is like a really big thing now, and I do find a few off Goodreads. I guess I kind of now use Goodreads to go off reviews, whereas Amazon was just, I don't know, I just finding books, I guess, and then I used to research the author and see how many books like they had and stuff. Definitely Instagram is very big at highlighting new books that are coming out, because if I ever went into Waterstones, I would look and find books and read the blurbs of them, but then I would sort of make notes on them, and then at home I would like research the hell out of them to see what they were actually about and other people's thoughts and reviews on them. Question 8, your bookshelf reveals your passion for YA and fantasy reads. Do you switch between the genres, or do you follow your favourite reading path? To be honest, not that I find this question weird, but when I pick up a book, I'm not thinking, oh, I really fancy something YA, or I really fancy something fantasy, because I think half the time a lot of those cross over, it's the same thing. The only thing I would say about following my own reading path is, if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know this, that at the beginning of the year I sort of will pick what books I want to read, and I try and keep it really, really varied. So I try and pick something to reread that I haven't read since I was a teenager or younger. I also try and pick books that have been sat on my shelf for God knows how long. Like recently I'm picking up a book hopefully this month that's been sat on my shelf for like 10 years. So it's trying to get through a backlog of books that have been sat there. Also gone with like, you know, modern current releases, and I also try and get in one Kindle book. At the moment I haven't gotten that far, but there's still time. But that is generally my sort of path that I take, so that when it comes to every month I've got quite a varied selection that I can pick from. So I kind of, that way sort of eliminates getting bored and eliminates the whole kind of, okay, well, I've read something like this already, I want to go like just a different path for like 1 month, and then I'll go back to reading that type of thing. Question 9. What is the most surprising book you've ever read? As I said before, Sally Green's Half Wild, Half Lost and Half bad. I've just said that completely in the wrong order, but shh. Like I said, it was such an astonishing level of emotion to come from a book with a male lead. Nathan's anguish and just his anger and loneliness and everything he's been through was so, I just wasn't expecting it. And it's not even like that, but also the relationships that she gets Nathan to explore and to develop are just amazing. His and Gabe's friendship is the single greatest thing I have ever read. I mean, I cried so much in the last book, it was ridiculous. It was just a total surprise. I mean, I just wasn't expecting a book like that, but not to be female driven was just a really amazing surprise for me. The other book that I said may come as a surprise to people, I don't know, but I said Peter Pan. I was really expecting to read this book and really love it, and I didn't. I actually found it really creepy and kind of unsettling, and I didn't like it. I do want to revisit it and see if my thoughts have changed on the book, but I don't know if I just had this idea of what I thought it would be and that I would really love it because it's a classic and everyone loves it and it's great, and all the reviews I was reading, you know, people like, this is my favourite childhood book, it's amazing, and then I read it and I was like, this is creepy as anything. What even is this? I would like to reread it and go, okay, now actually it's not that bad. Question 10. Do you read more than one book or several at a time? Yes, I do. I remember when I was a kid, I used to switch between 4 books, and I used to switch one every week, sorry. Yeah, I was crazy when I was a child, but that did not bother me. I still knew all the stories for that, it did not confuse me. Most recently, I used to swap one book every month, so I would have 3 books that I would rotate between. More recently, when I was at my last job, I used to have a book at work and a book at home. Now I have settled to just reading one book at a time. My mum set me a challenge at the beginning of this year to just read one book at a time, not to switch. I found it really hard to begin with, and the biggest reason I did it was because I kept getting trapped in series that were like 12 books long, and so I used to swap every month so that I didn't become bored and I wouldn't have to read 12 books of it straight, basically. But yeah, so far I have held the deal. It's like 6 months in, so I think I'm doing well. Question 11, library or bookstore? Always a bookstore. Just the smell of a bookshop. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. I don't think I've ever been in my local library. I think I went in it once, and that was when I had to do an essay for college and I needed a book. I used to love my high school library. My high school library was amazing. That is actually where I discovered Garthnix, and I started reading Sabriel, and I got to the 3rd one, and then I never got to finish it because I like obviously graduated, so I was like, great. So I got to like my final year, and I still haven't reread them, but I do plan on. But I loved it, and I remember I went to college and I saw the library there and it was just all educational books, and I was so disheartened. I was like, because I just thought, where am I going to find amazing books now? I just remember being really crushed at the fact that this library was just educational books and nothing else. Question 12 was, what are your 3 favourite cookbook covers? This is the hardest question for me, because I am such a cover junkie, like it is so bad. So I kind of picked 3 that I'm really in love with at the moment, but if you came back to me in 3 months time, totally be different. The first cover is Beauty and the Beast. You may have seen this most recently. It's just so gorgeous. Like absolutely, just this cover is so to die for. Even the back of it is got like this lovely like embossed rose in it. I can't. Just all of it, like the spine, it is so beautiful. I adore just everything about this book. My second cover was Frankenstein. This is my 3rd copy of Frankenstein. I do love the cloth bound edition, which is exactly the same as this, but it is grey background with, I think it's navy or just a really dark grey with like detailing in the hearts. But it's the foil on this that I love, and also the colouring of it. It was just, I didn't expect Frankenstein actually to come out in like a blue cover, but I really love it, and I just love like the embossed anatomical hearts in it. I just absolutely think it's gorgeous. The back is the same, and then so is the sides. This is the cover range by Coralie Bickford Smith, and I love these covers that she did. I've collected quite a few of these. I've got Frankenstein, I've got Brothers Grimm, oh yeah, I've got Frankenstein. Dracula. I've also got Jekyll and Hyde, and I love that one because it's got really cute little like golden embossed like little science speakers on it. And because I needed an excuse to buy these, I also bought Mum, Wuthering Heights and Sense and Sensibility, which have got like just gorgeous flowy lines in like gold embossed, but I just adore this, and the feel of it's really soft. The third cover was Beast Player. Oh, I almost dropped it. I'm not going to say this name, didn't say the name last time in the last video. I'm not doing it now because I'm butchering this person's name. Just the minute I saw this in Waterstones, I was like, please be about a really good story because I need this in my life. Okay, so question 14 was 3 titles for a reading break. Holiday break, sorry. I found this question kind of hard because I don't specifically take like specific holiday books. With me, I just take what I'm planning to read, but I'd have to say 3 probably books I would recommend would be Stardust by Neil Gaiman. It's very short, it's very sweet, and it's just such a nice little adventure book, and I wish it was so much longer because that story is amazing. Next to that, you've got The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstein. That is probably one of the single greatest books I've ever read, and I'm gutted there aren't more of them. Although it is quite a big book, it's just magic and amazing and so good. The final book I picked, which I guess would probably be like your typical airport pick, is Dan Brown. I love his Robert Langdon series. Like, I just do. I love everything. I love history so much. I love all of it. So the fact that it's kind of, because the thing is, in real life, I'm not into conspiracy. Like, that doesn't faze me, don't care about it, but in a book it makes such a great thriller, and they're just so fast paced, there's so many point of views and so much is happening. It's just such a quick and easy page turner and a read, and again, I love history. Question 15 was favourite quote. I don't have one. I wish I did. I wish I could be one of these people who's like, oh my god, I love this quote from such and such, it like spoke to me, it meant so much to me. I don't have one. I don't have one yet. Maybe I will one day. 16, if you could pair a book with a drink, what would you prepare to sip whilst reading? I am the single most boring person in the world. I drink water. I live off water. That's all I ever drink. But I sometimes enjoy a nice cup of tea with a book. I don't know, I don't think like beverage and book. But this weather's been really nice lately, so I'm going to say a raspberry gin and lemonade. That I have been loving. So I can imagine sitting by a pool, sipping that, reading. Probably the line's getting a little bit blurry. But I could happily pair that. So question 17 wasn't a question, it was just to like share your shelves with people. I'm not going to move the camera right now, I'm on a time limit and I have like stuff to go to, and I'm really sorry. But you can see the pictures on my Instagram anyway. I'm really sorry if this video was really long. I forgot how many questions were involved in this. I forgot it was like such like a long thing. But thank you if you've stuck with me through this whole thing. Thank you so much, because just like I said, I never thought I would ever be asked to do something like this, and for me it just means a lot, because it made me feel just a little bit special and a little bit happy. If you like this video, then don't forget, give me a thumbs up and comment below. I love to hear your thoughts. If you're new, then hello, welcome, become a subscriber and join the weird journey that I'm on. I always love hearing from new people, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!